everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Queen Sugar. Today I'm back with another channel message. In this particular message I channel through journaling, and if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes on my iPad from the messages that I was receiving from Spirit. And the theme, the message of today's video is obviously from the title, Ctrl+Alt+Delete. Now, if you are familiar with PCs, with computers, you know those functions are on the keyboard. And usually you will use those functions at the same time when you are trying to pause the computer's like process or function, or if you're trying to reboot your computer but you weren't able to actually get to the restart button, so you have to like just stop everything and Ctrl+Alt+Delete so you can reboot it and maybe fix the problem. And Spirit is saying at this time a lot of people are needing that pause point in life. As I'm filming this video, there's so much going on just energetically at the time of this recording, and a lot of people have been saying life has been lifing. Life has been intense, or things are just kind of coming out of nowhere. You know, Venus retrograde and all the different things that's going on, and it can be a lot to manage at times, but we have to have some type of pause point and an action plan on for ourselves in terms of like how do we regulate things again, how do we, you know, kind of alter the different things that's, you know, showing up for us, and make those changes so we can reflect the different type of reality that we want to experience, or so that life isn't as challenging at times. And so I'm going to break down the different parts of the message, and you know, think about it as like, as Spirit is saying, Ctrl+Alt+Delete. When you feel like life is life and your life is becoming too difficult, or there's a lot going on, you're not understanding where the madness is happening, where it's coming from, you know, where is the root cause of it, Ctrl+Alt+Delete. Pause everything and do these three things. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so the first word is control. When we think about the word control, we think about regulation. We think about trying to regulate something, power, right? And with this being the first function of our process, think about what has been controlling you lately. Is it your job? Are you always working, barely having any fun, resting? Are you in a relationship where it feels like it's taking up a lot of your personal time, it's taking up a lot of your self-care, your self-love? Are you allowing the stress of money and bills take over your joy and like kind of controlling you in that way? Think about the different things that have been controlling you, and recognizing the power that you hold and your ability to control certain things. And some things you cannot control. Some things are literally out of your control. You, for example, let's say you're dealing with somebody, you can't control what that person feels and what they think, but you can control how you feel, what you think, and how you respond to situations. And the idea to reflect on that is helpful for you to kind of process, okay, how am I showing up every day? Do I wake up in the morning with an attitude, already stressed out, already annoyed, or do I wake up at peace because I literally just went to sleep, you know, and I'm up? And even if you didn't get the most, you know, the best sleep ever, it's like, do you still wake up with this energy of like, oh, let me think about all the stressful things in life at this time, and that's how I start my day? Or do you wake up with a clean slate, relaxed, setting the intentions for the day, easing into the day, and feeling good? And even if there are some hiccups, you're not letting those situations and those experiences control the rest of your day, right? And there might be moments where we have to ask ourselves, am I a slave to my life, or am I an active participant? Am I an active creator, a collaborator in my life? And when you really recognize the power and the control that you have and how you're using it, but also too what is controlling, and you know, in essence, that's going to determine how things start to show up for you and how you experience your day-to-day life. So that's the take on control that we want to start with in terms of the first step. So the next one is alt. And alt is short for alternate. And by definition, when you think of alternate, and alt is meant to like shift, it's meant to be a modifier, right? To change something. And the question that Spirit channeled, or that I channeled from Spirit, was, what changes do you need to make? Once you realize what's controlling you, and you know, if you're in your true power, if you're understanding the power and the ability that you have to change and shift things in your life, what changes do you need to make? So let's say you're waking up every day stressed about money, stressed about bills. The change is, I need to, you know, how do I work this? Reprogram my thinking when it comes to money, when it comes to bills, when it comes to just life in general, right? And responsibilities. A lot of times people think like, oh, I gotta go to work, make this paycheck so I can pay all these bills. And that's just like, that doesn't have to be your life. But if that's what you say it is, that's what it's going to be. And so shifting the way that you're thinking about things is very important, number one. Sometimes too, you physically have to change. So if you are a person that you want to feel very productive and proactive about things in your work or in your career, but you're always, I don't know, working in bed, like maybe the change is, oh, maybe I should change my location of where I work. Maybe I should work, you know, at a coffee shop. Maybe I should work at a desk. Maybe I should buy a desk for my office at home, or make an office at home, so I can work there and be productive and physically feel like I'm doing this type of work and I'm in the energy of it, and it doesn't feel like I'm a slave to it, right? And that's why they always say like you shouldn't really work in bed, because your bed should be the place where you're resting and you can kind of like decompress and not think about work. Other changes too that you might need to make could be connected to people, and we kind of talk about that when we talk about the delete part, but the changes in the conversations you're having with your friends or with people in general. You know, are you having conversations with people where it's always folks complaining about everything, or are you having fruitful conversations where you're learning, you're growing, and like maybe there might be some complaints, but there's also solutions being provided. There's insight on what's going on, and it's enlightening in a sense, versus like, oh, you know, it's always something, all of these things keep happening, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 just low vibration energy. Long story short, if that's what you keep experiencing, that's what you keep knowing and participating in, then it's only going to make things, you know, worse, like later down the road, because that's going to be literally all that you're connected to and surrounded by. So it's going to be within your energy bubble, basically, right? And when I think about the type of changes that we can make, know that, how I mentioned before, you can't change anybody, you can't make anybody do anything. You can only change yourself, you can only heal and work on yourself. So when you think of the alt, of the Control Alt Delete, how can I change? How can I show up and be different? What am I doing that might not be contributing to the type of experience that I want to have? And in what way can I just be better and be different and be connected and aligned with the purpose and with the mission and with the plan that my higher self, that spirit, has for me, instead of continuously falling off track and not trying to do anything to get back on course, right? So that's something to think about as well when you're thinking about the alt of the Control Alt Delete. And the final piece, obviously, delete. And deleting itself is very clear, but delete meaning erase or get rid of, removing, clean up. And so with the delete piece, sometimes you physically might have to remove something out of your life. It can be a person, that could be a friend, it could be a lover, a partner, it could be a family member. And when you're deleting something and removing something from your life, it should be because it is needed, it is necessary, and it has a purpose, right? Not like, oh, I'm gonna just get rid of everybody that I've ever interacted with and just leave it there. And it's like, no, like actually think about, why am I getting rid of this thing or this person? Because then that also can teach you and show you the the message and the lesson out of it. Because sometimes too, people can get rid of things because they're trying to run away from something. So let's say, you know, there's a person that's afraid of accountability, afraid of being told the truth, and like when they're showing up short and someone telling them that, and they have great people in their life that, you know, communicate that. They're like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to hear that. So I'm gonna get rid of all the people that ever do that. There are people like that. And so that's why it's important to be intentional and mindful of like, what are you getting rid of and why are you getting rid of it? What is the true meaning of, if this person is no longer in my life, how does things, you know, continue to go or grow, right? And sometimes it can be a little challenging to get rid of people or get rid of things, especially if you have a connection to it. You've been, you know, a part of that community or a part of that energy for so long, and it can be challenging. But the idea is that if it is draining you, if it is causing stagnancy, if it is, you know, honestly not even just like inspirational or uplifting you, what value does that hold, right? Because you don't want something that's just like dead weight, just sitting around, not doing anything, not contributing. You know, you want something that's going to pour into you, that's going to add life to you in some way and capacity. And sometimes once it has hit its point of doing that, you might have to let it go. I think about it like this, where, like, for example, like with tarot, oftentimes people watch tarot readings because they want advice on things, they want input on something, and they feel like this is going to be helpful for me to get to the outcome that I want or whatever it is. At some point, there should be a shift within yourself to where it's like, okay, maybe I don't need this as much as I once did. Doesn't mean you don't have to stop getting readings forever or stop watching them forever, but more so like I'm not so dependent on it. I'm not relying on it as much as I was before, because now I'm more confident within myself. I know the power that I hold. I know and trust the intuition, my gut, all of that. And that comes from lived experience. It comes from trusting yourself. It comes from, you know, confidence, this, that, and the third. But the idea is that it's okay to get rid of something at some point, even if you feel like, oh, it hasn't really, you know, done harm to me, but it's like, but is it helping you in any way? Because if it's not helping you and it's just there, at some point it could just be dead weight that could potentially be holding you back, where you can make room for something bigger and better to show up. And another piece of just like the deleting part of the function, when you delete, when you remove, always know that something big and better will replace it. Something big and better will come in its place. So never feel like, oh, you know, I'm letting go of this friendship of 20 plus years. Now I don't have a friend anymore, and it's like there may be a new person that comes in that becomes your friend. And it's a stronger relationship, it's a stronger friendship, and it adds so much beauty and so much light to your life. So never look at deleting things as like this sad, depressive thing to where you can no longer be happy and just suffer, and you have to suffer for the rest of your life. No, if you delete something, okay, give yourself the space to feel the emotions and to understand and process it, but then know that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's so much more after that, and you don't have to be subjected to just this mindset of like, oh, this is what I have to expect. Like, oh, I just won't have a friend. Oh, I don't have a high salary, or I won't have like quality relationships. This, that, and the third. Like, stop putting that energy out there on yourself in essence, right? And I think that was like pretty much that that they were telling me. And the last part of this that they said was the final message. Is they said, if you were given a blank script, what story would you tell? If you were given a blank script, what story would you tell? How would you write your story? I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.99% sure, a lot of us wouldn't write nearly none of the BS that we have gone through in our life. But with that being said, if you were given a blank script and you could write anything you want for your life, what would you write? You're probably going to write about the great things that you want to experience. But some of us might not even feel that we're able to even think of a thought like that, of something great, because maybe we're so used to things falling apart or things not showing up a certain way, so we don't even have that imagination anymore. So if you lack that imagination and that confidence to even imagine and think that something great can happen for you, definitely do the work on that control piece of like, what's controlling my imagination, what's controlling my thinking and my ability to visualize something great for myself. And that can give you the answer to like the root causes and like, how do I, work with that energy. And then use the Alt key, shift, modify those thoughts, that feeling, all of that, and then delete the trauma, the pain connected to it, because that's also going to weigh you down even more. So making those shifts, making those changes, and deleting can be so helpful for us to write our story that we want to write. So now I'm pulling up cards just to see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to say regarding the channel message. I keep hearing them say recognize, recognize. Look at that. Okay, we got number 50, Angel of Strength. And we are, I'm filming this video on, I think the 12th of August, so we just had the Lionsgate portal and the energy is still around. But the fact that, how I just talked about the power, the control, being the creator, being an active participant, and that angel of strength, when you truly embody that power that you have been gifted, anything that you want for yourself is not out of reach. It can be yours, but you have to feel as if you can have it and know that you get to control a lot of the things in your life. It's never like, oh, I'm just existing and everything that's happening is just happening because I didn't have a say so. It's like, no, you have a say so. You are a participant. You are a creator. You're a collaborator. So if you don't like what you're seeing, Ctrl+Alt+Delete. Ctrl+Alt+Delete. All right, let's get one more card. We have number 35, first chakra, Archangel Michael. And I feel like this card coming out with the Angel of Strength card, because that is your root chakra, that's your base, that's your foundation, that's home. And when the foundation is rocky, everything else is gonna fall apart at some point. Let's just keep it above. It is going to happen. Like, you can't tell me if somebody were to build a skyscraper and if they have a shitty foundation, that skyscraper is going to last 100 years. I guarantee you won't. At some point, it's going to crumble. It's going to be a crack. Something is going to happen. And it's not saying that even when you do have a sturdy foundation, that you would never have to have a moment where you have to, work on it. But the idea is that when you do a lot of the base work beforehand and you are intentional about it, it makes things smoother and easier later down the road, because then you don't have to do as much work later on. Versus if, oh, I'm gonna just be lazy. Oh, this says it's supposed to take me 6 months to do. I'm gonna just do 2 months worth of work and just call it whatever. And then later on, you have to do all of it all over again. So then you're putting in more time, you put in more effort and work. Versus if you did it right the first time, you might not have to make so many changes, right? So that is what I have for you today. I hope that this message resonated with a lot of you, and you can, give yourself this space to kind of think about what things do I need to work on and how can I Ctrl+Alt+Delete life right now, especially if it feels like it's going in so many different directions. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the reading and the messages from Spirit, and I will be back with more. I love you all. Bye.